That just auto started. I don't know what
happened. Mid-conversation.
That auto started. I don't know how that happened. It just happened.
Yeah, right.
Episode 88. Everyone, Gaming Podcast. Hello, Nintendo Steve. How you doing?
I'm doing good. The best part about that whole entire bit is that no one watching understands it.
No, not at all.
It's purely self-serving. Like the
audience
has no idea what the hell we're talking about. Nearly 50% of the time we do this episode.
Yeah,
like,
the
why
show
are
we
y'all
have at
yelling?
the beginning of every episode. It's not because the episode started. It's because of Marcel
Why
screwing
are they
us over
always
every
yelling
time.
at Marcel? They're just feeling bad for me. That's all in the comments. So, but Steve, how you doing?
I'm doing really well. I mean, we're coming off a very exciting week. I mean, we had the Nintendo Switch 2 come out. We had Summer Game Fest, leading into Pixel Power Play, another exciting event.
Toronto Games
Month, self-promotion there.
Month.
Toronto Video Game Month.
Video Game Month.
The entire month now.
Yeah. I'm surprised your name is not Steve CP24. What's up with that?
Ooh, that would have been a good one.
That would have been, damn it.
Opportunity.
So let's just restart the whole episode.
Yeah, can we?
Let's just start over.
Once again.
Yeah,
that was really cool, though. That was really cool.
That was awesome,
they invited me, people that don't know CP24's local news. I got to go talk about Toronto Video Game Month as well as promote Pixel Power Play. So that was
Where were you? Were you in your apartment doing it?
Not here in like the
right.
the
And
setup,
I would say like that would have been a good setup anyway.
And for the folks listening who might not know about Pixel Power Play, give them the rundown. Marcel or Steve, one of you guys.
Steve, this is on you. I don't want to do it.
Oh damn!
Wow!
I don't do it. My brain's
Pass me
fried.
the buck. Yeah, no, I can talk about it. Yeah,
It's a little alley oop.
I got it. I got the ball.
Yeah, thank you.
Such an awkward pass, but okay, we'll allow it.
Yeah. I'm only working with a small window here, No, Pixel Power Play. Well, I mean, it was inspired by Marcel. He's the one that really started it all. But the vision of it is to create some sort of Day of the Dev style event here in Toronto. I mean, there's amongst our peers, our colleagues, and everything. So many people are like, we need a dedicated video game event to happen in Canada. The gaming industry in Canada is really always sharing it with something like Fan Expo, or it's a truncated kind of event that's shared largely with like esports, or it's always kind of it never has the dedication that I think it really deserves. And rather than Canadian developers having to fly out to SGF or Gamescom, Tokyo Game Show, or any of these other major events, the idea is to start something here. And I know it's going to be the first year is always, growing pains. It's always kind of proof of concept, proving ourselves and everything. But I think what Marcel put together, and that I've been, lucky enough to jump on board with, is something that I think is very sustainable and very serving towards the developers, but also bring in a ton of media, a ton of creators as well to come out, talk to developers, actually sit down and hear from developers, be able to, spend an entire day playing games. And then hopefully it's able to grow. Hopefully it's able to gain a lot of traction. I mean, this year alone, got a whole bunch of great sponsors and partners, whether it's, ton of indie developers, but also Ubisoft has been a great supporter. We've also got, Jackbox Games, Marcel, throw me some other names here.
You guys are getting
Voodoo Ranger?
Voodoo Ranger.
Well? Yeah, we're gonna be on the front page as well. We're having a 3-hour stream. And the second hour is gonna be on the front page, showcasing all the games who were there or who couldn't be there as well. So
yeah, that's right. There is also the live stream component, so that if developers can't make it downtown Toronto during Toronto Video Game Month, they're able to kind of like jump in on the live stream and kind of celebrate that as well.
Intel. We have a big surprise with Intel.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of
I gotta
cool
say,
stuff with Intel, Unity as well. So we've got
Unity as well. Yeah,
a lot of great traction and support so far. But yeah, hopefully we come out and kind of prove ourselves that way. Next year, something.
If not, we're moving to Barrie.
That's right. Yeah, we're at the city.
Yeah. Booster calling us?
That was an accident.
That was insane.
It was an accident. It was an accident.
Amazing.
Yeah, for everyone watching, listening, June 14th, the live stream for people that can't make it kicks off at 3 p.m. On twitch.tv/Twitch Toronto, and then the main front page of Twitch at 4 p.m.
4 p.m. Yeah. Be a fun time.
Very fun.
Steve Showcase.
Yeah.
Sorry, what?
But how are you doing?
Oh, sorry, I didn't hear you. You got cut off. No, I'm doing good. Basically, I'm just kind of in sort of review mode. I've got a bunch of games kind of on the go, and stuff we'll be talking about today. So I won't segue into that just yet. But yeah, I've got a few things I've been kind of playing. Been looking into a little Death Stranding and Death Stranding 2. So we shall see how that goes. I can't talk about it just yet, but yeah. Yeah, I've been excited about playing my Switch 2, and yeah, to get some. I'm looking forward to Saturday as well. So yeah, doing good.
You know, it's so good when you get a game to review so early, unlike a certain Mind's Eye game.
Oh, I know, right?
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
A couple hours ago. I wonder why.
Yeah, because I'll say it. Like, basically, PlayStation sent Death Stranding 2 codes the beginning of last week, and the review embargo date is June 23rd. So that's saying something from Sony's end.
You gotta love that.
Yeah,
love that. So. Riley, what's going on with you? What are you loving?
That the weekend is over now, and I get to decompress a little bit after all that news.
You love that the weekend is over?
Launch.
Imagine
that. I feel like the week leading in was just work. It was just nonstop work.
That's fair. It was a busy week.
So now we get to decompress a little bit. I thought, and then they announced a new Splatoon game, and it's like, all right, that's great.
Work continues.
So no, I'm doing well. I played a ton of Switch 2. I'm loving it, but we'll talk about that later.
Caboose,
doing good. You know, this was the week, not just for like games, but fighting games specifically. We really got a lot of love throughout this week. So I imagine we're going to talk a lot about that. I'm excited to get into it.
Let's start off with Summer Game Fest. What did everyone think about the overall Summer Game Fest? We'll lump everyone to like PlayStation Summer Game Fest and
Xbox Showcase.
Showcase.
I'm glad I didn't go in person.
Me too.
Same.
Yeah. It's not to say that like it would have been bad, because I mean, of course, seeing friends and colleagues across the industry is always a good time, and being able to play the games that were announced at Play Days, that's always a good time. But definitely not spending a huge amount of money to go for just to hang out with friends and stuff. Definitely worth. Cliff got to go.
Dodging fires as well. I hope
fires, protests
down there.
Yeah. So, which apparently didn't affect anybody at Summer Game Fest, as far as I know, and everything seemed normal over there. But yeah, no, I think overall, it's not to say that this year was bad in any way in regards to previous years, but I think we've had better showcases before in previous years. So it's. I will say, I think probably the thing I'm definitely fine with. I was glad that I wasn't at the Summer Game Fest live, because it would have been kind of nothing for me. But I've been saying all weekend long, including our own reactions, which are up on was it GamingNetwork.com? Is that
and YouTube as well? Yeah,
and YouTube. Yeah, that basically. I always feel that showcases there's no objective way to be able to review them, because there's the showcases. Their job is to be able to have as many games as that can fulfill like a lot of audiences as much as possible. Yeah. And so there are going to be some showcases that have a lot for some people and have like barely anything for others. So anyone who says like Summer Game Fest was shit or Xbox Showcase was better than everything else, you can't really review that. For me personally, I felt Xbox had the better showing out of the main three showcases.
Xbox is the most strong showcase.
But it's not to say that like Summer Game Fest was worse or was absolutely terrible in any way. It just, there was a lot of games that were in that showcase that just didn't appeal to me at all. So
I think I'm in the same boat. Yeah,
a lot of souls. Yes,
a lot of souls, a lot of anime type. There was a portion of Summer Game Fest where like I was legitimately like, is this the same game that they're still showing me?
Yeah.
Or are these three separate games that I'm looking at right now? But yeah, like I think Summer Game Fest specifically was not spectacular this year. I also Big Papa Geoff Keighley, a little tease, man. He hit me with there's going to be Marvel heroes throughout the show, and it was Cosmic Invasion, which has already been revealed.
Yeah.
And then Deadpool VR, which admittedly looked pretty sweet.
Sure.
But definitely, not what I was thinking when he said Marvel heroes. Especially because the one guy that I was hoping to see, the one guy with his claws popping out, I was hoping to see during the PlayStation State of Play did not happen. So I have no idea what's going on with Wolverine. But yeah, I think I agree with you, Steve, in that I think the Xbox showcase was the strongest of the three big ones that we got this past weekend. I think that their approach to just this no BS, here's the games, 1 hour of trailers nonstop was really, really effective. Even with the State of Play, it was a lot of like, here's this game we just showed you with all the information you need about the game. Now here's somebody who works on the game to tell you exactly what you just saw for an additional 3 minutes. It's like, I know, like I just saw, like, what are you talking about?
All you're doing is repeating the same, gameplay.
You might as well have just ran the trailer twice, man. Like, what the heck?
A great example of that the whole weekend is we kept seeing the same trailer for First Light 007 across PlayStation, across Summer Game Fest, and their own IO showcase, and yet no additional gameplay or footage was ever shown at any of those three.
It was that, and it was Rakuten, the Patapon.
Yes,
the new Patapon game. I was like, that song is stuck in my head now because of how many times I've seen the trailer throughout the weekend.
Yep.
But I mean, I think one thing that I think was great was that all three showcases, State of Play, Summer Game Fest, the Xbox showcase, were full of like, holy crap, I did not expect that surprises. With the State of Play, I don't think anybody had on their bingo card that Arc System Works was working on a Marvel fighting game.
No.
That is crazy. It looks awesome. It looks like a ton of fun. And it's a 4v4 tag fight.
4v4. I'm not a fan of the name, though.
Yeah, the name's a little weird. The name's a little weird.
Token Souls.
I think Marvel Fighting Souls would have been fine. Like just leave it at that.
You're talking about a studio that calls a fighting game Guilty Gear. So
I know.
That makes sense. It's rock and roll.
Yeah. Okay, fine. But yeah, so PlayStation gets that. Summer Game Fest, we all kind of saw coming was going to be Resident Evil 9. Yeah. Although they tried to bait and switch.
How they did it though was nice.
Yeah, I think so.
No. I disagree how they did it. It was the worst way to showcase it at like by teasing us with this sort of, we got this anniversary, blah blah blah. We'll show you when it's ready. To basically then 20 minutes later show the entire trailer. That objectively I think was the worst way, like flow of show for the entire all three shows. Like that to me just was not the way to do it.
So I was completely agreeing with you when I watched Summer Game Fest. I was like, we just wasted 3 minutes for them to say we're gonna not show you Resident Evil 9 for them to just show us Resident Evil 9 later. But then I noticed that apparently there was a ton of rumors and leaks and stuff, like insiders saying Resident Evil 9 is going to show up during Summer Game Fest. So my speculation was they totally just made that sometime shortly before the show to say like, let's just like try and find a way to essentially build some hype for this thing.
And to that point, it worked because I had been in the trenches of the rumors. I had been like reading through it all. Like I had been in it. And yeah, when they said like, you're going to have to wait longer. I was that defeated, like, I hadn't, head in your head. I was like, damn, like we were so close. Like I thought it was going to be here. And then that trailer starts and you're like, this looks like a Capcom ass game.
Yeah, exactly.
And then you hear Ashcroft and I was like, oh my fucking God, they actually bait and switched me. Yeah, and I was like, no way. And then you see Raccoon City. I was
as soon as I saw Raccoon City and the new area,
they actually bamboozled me. They proper bamboozled me.
In the second trailer, when the producer was talking, they flash Outbreak. And like they were showing like Outbreak footage. They're doing like little hints here and there.
Exactly.
And then we hear Ashcroft, you're like, what the hell?
They're trying to put it in your mind. They're trying to put it in your mind for sure. Yeah. So like with that being said, I guess I understand. But I still do get like the feeling of well, why did we just tell people it wasn't happening just to have it happen? But anyways, like I said, so PlayStation has Marvel Tokon Fighting Souls, Summer Game Fest has Resident Evil 9, and then for Xbox, I mean, I don't even think Black Ops 7 was the big thing for me. It was Invincible versus for me that was like the holy shit, like that this is a thing.
And the same voice cast from the show,
that is crazy, cool. Crazy. And that's part of the reason why I'm saying that it's like this was a weekend for fighting game fans. We got to see the new Street Fighter season, Mortal Kombat Legacy Collection.
The Omega. That was a wicked trailer.
Yeah, the PlayStation Fight Stick, they're officially making that an accessory, which is awesome. And yeah, like there's so many really cool fighting games on the way, specifically tag fighters. So I was a big fan. I dug, for the most part, the showcases this year.
I like what you're saying, Aaron, is that like for me going through all three showcases, I didn't think that any of them were incredible. I do think that the Xbox One was the most consistent and probably the strongest out of the three. But I do think that if I were to go back and like a time machine and parse through each one, there were some really great standouts for me, and especially Summer Game Fest, starting out with Mortal Shell 2, which is just such a niche Steve-ass game. The entire time I was like, there's no way. There's no way that this game is getting a sequel. There's no way that this game is getting a sequel that looks this good. Yeah. And then at the very end, you get the name. I was like, well, to start off the show, that speaks directly to me, but I know that people around the world were looking at them and they're like, what? Then to flash forward like 2 hours later and you get Resident Evil, another game that I've been very excited about. I mean, like I can't complain about that. I thought it started and ended very strong. I thought the Xbox game showcase to start out with Outer Worlds 2, I was like, man, they're really going for it. And then Obsidian to come out with Outer Worlds 2 and then drop Grounded 2, I was like, oh my god,
that was a big surprise. That was a big surprise
in the same year.
Yeah,
3 games in the same year, like
Outer Worlds.
I'm sorry, Insomniac, wake the fuck up! You guys are losing it.
I was saying it through my Marcel, like I was saying in our reaction, I was like, Obsidian is 100% Xbox's Insomniac.
I've been saying that for years. They prove like. Sure, they're not like the most AAA of AAA studios, but in terms of consistency, in terms of like output, they blow me away.
Yeah, and they're working with Eidos Montreal as well on this too.
On Grounded too. So it seems like they're getting a lot more support. Clockwork Revolution was absolutely nuts.
That was my game of the show, like of the entire weekend.
The roller coaster of that was a little unfortunate because I thought it was such a strong trailer, and for them not to cap it off at the release date, I was like,
yes, no, I definitely agree. Yeah, but the fact that you can like shoot someone. You're like, well, I actually do need those 3 bullets, and just suck it out. Just suck it out of them. I didn't reverse time and everything.
The only thing for Xbox that took it away from me was that Black Ops reveal, where I was like, oh, we know it's going to be Black. Like
that's what I'm saying.
But I honestly think not. It's like we didn't. It looks so different than any other.
Okay. I can admit I did. I had
for
no
sure.
idea.
Yeah, I think part of my problem with that was we know they're releasing another Call of Duty.
Right,
this year,
exactly.
You know what I mean? Like
I don't need that to be the last thing.
I didn't. I obviously I don't think a lot of people expected they were going to go from Black Ops 6 right to Black Ops 7.
Right. Sure.
So that's the surprise, if you will. But it's like, I don't know. Did that really need to be the end one more thing? No. You know what I mean? Like,
honestly, I don't mind it being the one more thing. We knew that, like, that's the thing with annualized titles. We know there's one coming. It's never a surprise for any of us. But I think the subverting the expectations of that trailer and being like, because I think Marcel, I think you and I were like, it's Quantum Break. It's 100% Quantum Break. I was like, that's cool. But then to have the surprise at the end that it's Call of Duty and it's Black Ops 7, which is the first time that they've done a Black Ops back-to-back, and it's the same studios too. It's Treyarch and Raven again. That to me, I was like, that's cool. Like I was like, I wasn't necessarily like, I was hoping, of course, for like another, like a one more thing of the level of like a Fable or a Gears or a Perfect Dark or even a Halo. But to me, I didn't mind that it was a Call of Duty. Yeah, it was like a slightly disappointing of an end. But what really surprised me was like, okay, this does not look like a Call of Duty game. Like they barely showed any first-person gameplay at all. Yeah. It was all about the feel and the vibe and the style of the world that we're going to be in. And I don't think we've been to sort of futuristic Call of Duty since Advanced Warfare, and that's like almost over a decade old at this point.
Yeah, you think they're bringing back wall running and all this, that, and
I hope not. I hope, please leave it alone. Give me boots on the ground. Just leave those feet, little feet on the ground.
They got to do
Call of Duty's got to iterate. Call of Duty's got to iterate. You can't just come out with the same boots on the ground and saying every single time.
We just got Verdansk back. Do not iterate on this fucking game ever again.
I think they just got to do what Fortnite did. Just have your own version of the no build. You know what I mean? You can have the jetpacks on the wall running for one group of people who love to play the game that way, and the boots to the ground game mode for those types of players as well. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I get what you're saying, Steve. I think I understand the position that you're in. It's just for me, it was like it went from like this crazy intrigue of like, what is this game? Like, what are we doing here? To oh, it's Black Ops 7.
Yeah. I felt so deflated. I'm not gonna lie. Like,
I was like, all right.
To me, it was the equivalent of it was the equivalent of when 2K puts out those like really great campaign trailers for NBA 2K, and you're like all of a sudden like, oh, this is really cool. Oh, it's 2K. Okay.
2K26.
Yeah,
that's cool.
I mean, the one thing that Phil Spencer did right leading into it was he addressed like the elephant in the room. It's like, where's Gears of War? Where's Fable? Where's Forza? Where's, implied Halo? And he said it's all coming next year for the anniversary. So that was a really
cool. next year?
Yeah, I mean, that's what he implied.
That's what he implied.
EA's next year. I feel like we should have gotten something, you know what I mean? Like,
so that's the thing. Like, the thing that kind of irks me about the way Xbox announces their games sometimes is like there are 10 games that we haven't seen in years now from them. Yeah. Like we have Fable, we have Gears of War E-Day, we have the Forza, which we knew, we have Hideo Kojima's OD, right? Contraband, Perfect Dark, Everwild, Elder Scrolls 6, Marvel's Blade, and then an implied Halo. Like that's 10 games.
Yeah.
And none of them showed up here. So it's like I thought they had an okay showcase, but it is definitely like a bridge to the next year at this point.
I think honestly though, it's yes, it would have been great to be able to see updates on those games specifically, but I think you can see a shift in how Xbox is going to be promoting and announcing games kind of going forward. Is that because those announcements that we had. We probably were going to have them much sooner than we thought of, because there was the pandemic that kind of came in and they were all like, okay, these games are coming out in the next 12 months. Like there was a bit of an expectation that they were a lot further along than they actually are. And all they were doing was literally just teasing us, being like, this is coming. And then as you said, silence for a while. But I think that they're switching their strategy in that here's what's coming up over the next at least year or two, which that is what this showcase was. Because for me, what made the Xbox showcase successful for me personally was all I needed to know was what is coming out for the latter half of this year. We knew what was coming out for this half. We saw there was a big, huge push of like they had a great first half of 2025. I wanted to see if they were going to continue that for the rest of 2025. And from what they showed, yes, I am on board. It looks like they're going to have a great year and setting up a next year. Granted, yes, I agree with you. It would have been great to be able to see updates on those games, but I think that Xbox is kind of changing their strategy because of the backlash that they've been getting of how they promote games. They're being a little bit more conservative in that regard, to be like, we're only going to start talking about it when it's almost ready, within the next 2 to 3 years at most. So the fact that if we're going to get Gears E-Day next year, we're talking 2 years from announcement to launch. That is a very short period of time.
It's pretty short. Yeah.
So to me, I'm okay with the fact they didn't announce it, because we're not going to see it at some point soon. Yeah. And so to me, it's like, granted, yes, there's a lot of, because even State of Decay 3, they've talked about that for years. That was another one that didn't.
That's another one I didn't mention. So 11 games.
Yeah. So yes, it sucks to be able to have those hanging.
It's like, yeah. I hear your point, Steve, and I do think that generally the industry is shifting towards like a shorter announce window, which is more beneficial because I think attention spans are going down. And so much noise you have to cut through,
and your marketing budget is like.
Yeah, like I totally get it, and they're in a weird pivot point too, where they're starting to release, like we're seeing PS5 logos during the Xbox showcase.
Yeah.
Like I just think that like I love the show. I thought they had some fun surprises. I just think that when you have 11 games hanging over you for years and years and years, and you build on expectation excitement around these games, even last year, you have to just show something. Give us just a little bit more, because like I don't even know if I like next time I see a trailer, I'll be like, cool, that's 5 years away. Like I don't trust you to have it out to me soon now. So it's like you got to just show me a little bit more, like. And that's it. Just like little updates, like Phil Spencer saying, like next year, like we have our 4 pillars hitting, like that's cool. But like, what's that mean for Perfect Dark if you have like a AAA dropping every quarter? I don't know. Like,
and so this is the same position that I was in with Wolverine, with it not showing up at the State of Play. Because it's been 4 years since its announcements. It was announced at the same time as Marvel Spider-Man 2. And then granted, Spider-Man 2, when it was announced, unlike Wolverine, got a release window, right? So when they showed Spider-Man 2 during that showcase in 2021, they gave the 2023 year release, right? So we obviously knew Spider-Man 2 was coming before Wolverine, but now it's been almost 2 years since Spider-Man 2. We're coming up on what would be a normal AAA dev cycle of 5 years, right? I'm assuming Wolverine is next fall. I think that's a really safe assumption to make amongst anybody who's privy to how long these games take to make. And so if it's coming out next year, and considering that there's no DLC for Spider-Man 2, they're not even having any additional costumes or post-launch content coming to the game whatsoever, they went all hands on deck with Wolverine. It really would have been a good time during that PlayStation State of Play, which I guess they're not doing showcases anymore. I don't know what the case is, but they obviously were trying to treat that State of Play as their showcase this year, right? That was their big PlayStation event. They had a big reveal towards the end of it. We all expected that big reveal towards the end would have been a new look at Wolverine. And for it to be this long, for us to have to wait forever in a sea of cancellations like Wonder Woman and now the Black Panther game, people are starting to get worried. People are starting to get antsy. Like, is this game happening? Is it real? Can you give us a crumb, just a little crumb to reassure the people who are excited for these games to say, hey, we're still working on it, even if they don't, or even if they aren't ready to give us a release window. We've seen Xbox specifically in the past give an update for Fable and not give a release window yet, but at least just to show some people, here's the game again. Let's remind you, we're making it. We don't have a year that we're ready to release yet.
I think it's a damned if you do, damned if you don't kind of thing, especially for Xbox. I mean, Wolverine, I think, is a very different situation because so many people are just waiting for another look at that game. Yeah. Xbox, for instance, has been doing the same thing over and over again, where it is like State of Decay 3. How many times can we see that? Perfect Dark. It's another one where we've seen it now, 2 or 3 times without a release date. Fable's another. We haven't even seen gameplay.
And they showed it last year.
Yeah, we haven't even seen gameplay for Fable yet. I mean, Gears E-Day and I think Halo would be different circumstances, but I do think that it is imperative that for Xbox in particular to come out when they start talking about their mainline core first party titles, they have to be ready to go. I mean, look at Clockwork Revolution. They had an outstanding trailer and then the air got taken from under their wings of like, we'll release it when it's ready. It's like, come on guys, like you guys are great at making games, you guys are great at showing games, but that catalog, that output is just being mishandled altogether.
I don't think it's. I disagree. I agree with all of what you're saying, but I disagree with you saying that it was mishandled because this kind of goes to what you were all saying. I think it's because we're seeing the effect of what the industry is going through right now. We're seeing budget cuts, studio closures, layoffs. We're seeing shifting priorities in literally in real time. We were supposed to be knee deep in PlayStation games of service games right now, but we're not. And I think that we're seeing that reflected in the games that are announced and also talked about and release dates. I think we're like Microsoft has been laying off people by the thousands over the past year and a half. So, and on the specifically the gaming side, not just at Microsoft total. So I think that yes, while I agree that it would have been great to be able to see an update about Wolverine. It would have been great to see an update about any of the 10 games that they've talked about or announced, but haven't heard of in a very long time. I just think that they're a lot more conservative with is this game going to be good enough and ready enough to be able to be talked about now and because everyone is very gun shy about talking about things right now because of the overhype of the internet, but then also we don't know if a studio is even going to exist a year from now. Totally. So I think that yes, it would have been great to be able to see any of the updates for those games. I don't disagree with that. I would love to have seen a ton of updates from games that we know about that haven't seen in a long while. But I think it's just because we're in this sort of weird spot in the industry. I don't think it's just like it's just mismanagement. It's just no one knows what the heck is going on, so they can only show so much. That's my thought.
I think that's totally fair. The caveat or the asterisk I put to all of that is prove it at release date. If any of these 10, 11 games come out and even like they start to falter and kind of diminish the quality, then you really do have to look at what's going on behind the scenes, because these games have been in the pipeline, announced since some of them since what I think State of Decay was 2017 when they acquired Undead Labs. Like I think that they announced that they were working on another State of Decay when they acquired. I
think they just got really focused on trying to. That's so a lot of consoles traditionally, like right now, Wolverine's doing it. Prior to the past year, Metroid was Nintendo. Like they have carrots, right?
Of course,
things way off in the distance. They're like, oh, that's coming too. I forgot about that. So
Elder Scrolls,
yeah, right, like. Stuff like that, that is like a very
that's the biggest carrot.
I think Elder Scrolls was one of the first to do like, here's this game we're making at some point.
Yeah, you know, we have other games lined up ahead of it, but here it is now. It's that was silly, but obviously at the time they were privately owned, and that appeases investors and stuff like that. So getting those titles.
By the way, sorry to cut you off, but for reference, Elder Scrolls 7 announcement. June 2018.
I was there. I was in attendance at the Bethesda conference when they announced
that.
Yeah.
That's nuts.
That was the same. Was that the same one when they announced Starfield too?
I think it is the same. Yeah, because then they're like, and now we're
oh my
to work on the other one. Yeah.
Wow. It was that long.
And State of Decay 3, I just saw was announced July 2020.
Yes, I saw that too.
5 years now.
Okay.
5 years.
So I think that again, it's like if this was Embracer Group, I would say that probably 10 of the like 6 or 7 of those games that we were hoping to be able to see were probably canceled. But this is Xbox, so this is kind of like a different of company altogether. But then also as well, this is the problem that I find that with the video game industry, when it comes to like compared to say like the movie or TV industry, industry, we know about a lot of projects that are in the works, and they're generally still a couple of years out, but we know that they're happening, and they're like unless they get canceled somewhere down the line, it's very rare that we ever hear about that. But within games, we don't know if like a game basically was like was announced and was working towards a deadline, and then they realized, no, this is not the direction we want to go. They have to start over again. We rarely get to hear about those kind of things, and so I'd be very curious to know if any of those 10 games, how many times did they have to restart production on them throughout the project. So yes, while it's great, State of Decay was announced in July 2020, and it's still 5 years later. Or Elder Scrolls 6 was announced in 2018, and it's now 7 years later. Yes, it could have been that they've been working on this the entire time. But I would probably be curious to find out, okay, how, did that get restarted 2-3 times over the course of those past 5 to 7 years? And how secretive the industry is, we just don't know.
Yeah, there's no peek behind the curtain, like you said, the way that we have with the film and television industry. The only scary thing is now we live in an era where if these games take too long and they're costing too much money, at a certain point, the suits up top cut their losses and they slash them. I don't think anybody here could have guessed that a AAA Wonder Woman game that was being developed by Monolith would have ever been in a position where we'd have seen it gets canceled entirely, and the studio with 30 years behind it gets shut down entirely. I don't think
Black Panther.
I was going to say
as well.
First studio, the first studio game, like the brand new studio, brand new game
that was created specifically to develop this new game. Which also, like, it is so cursed, dude. There were people who were ex-Monolith that jumped ship to work at Cliffhanger Games, and they were also apparently working on their own version of the Nemesis system for that game, and it also gets slashed and it also gets canceled. Now we don't know when you have games like a State of Decay 3 that was announced 5 years ago. Now, I'm not saying State of Decay is like a bad franchise or anything like that, but it certainly doesn't have this monumental IP the way that something like Wonder Woman or Black Panther has, right? So if Wonder Woman games and Black Panther games can get canceled, what's to stop Xbox or whoever it is from looking at State of Decay 3 and saying, guys, this is taking too long and it's costing way too much money. We do not see the ROI here. We might just have to call it a day. You know, like, and maybe Elder Scrolls just couldn't be in that same position because it's Elder Scrolls and it could be like literally the next big video game of all time. So I don't think you see something like that happening with an Elder Scrolls 7, but I could certainly see it happening with the State of Decay 3. And knock on wood, I don't think it's going to happen with Wolverine because of Insomniac's proven track record. And they just released a game not only 2 years ago, but if you haven't heard about it in 4 years, it's fair to say, like, you're a little nervous about it, given the landscape. So, like, we're in different times than we were a couple of years back, where it was like, yeah, games get announced, then we don't hear about them for a little while. Because now we're living in a time where games that got announced and we didn't hear about them for a little while get canceled, with studios getting shut down. So I think people want these updates to know, like, hey, it's still happening. We're still making it. You know,
and I think that's a very good reason is to at least want to be able to get something, especially in regards to Wolverine's case, because when you're in that cadence of Insomniac releasing game after game over the course of several years, and then you don't hear anything about the next one over the course of 4, and because now we're like seeing the two huge superhero games being canceled from 2 completely different studios and publishers. I think that it was a mistake for Insomniac to not have an announcement, or at least something saying about the progress of Wolverine, just to kind of, again, give the fans that like assurance, being like, we're fine. This game is progressing.
Give me the Resident Evil thing they did at Summer Game Fest, man. I just need someone in Insomniac to be on screen and say, hey, guys, we're still making it, I swear.
Before Ted leaves, being like, hey, still being worked on. Peace out.
Just one little bit of anything.
Yeah. Once Ghost got its release day, I kind of figured Wolverine was not happening this year. So I didn't have my hopes too high. Yeah.
I'll ask you guys this question because so many people have been like telling me, do you guys think that due to the hack and the leaks and everything that has been online, do you guys think they not necessarily restart development, but they scale back some things and change a lot with the game? Or is it just like there's no way, considering how far they must have been in development at that time?
No, I've been saying this since the get-go. That must have been such a crushing defeat for that studio to have that much, especially Wolverine, not to mention their entire roadmap, but especially for Wolverine to come out, be playable in some aspects and everything. Like, people were able to data mine and actually go through like specific areas of levels and everything. For a creator or a creative team, you have to look at that and you're like, we got to change this up. We got to change the formula up in like little ways and tweak it just enough so that when we do come out, people are like, well, I saw a bootleg version of this on TikTok, or
So then I'll ask you this: how much do you think it's enough to be changed, like to essentially push this game out several years? Or is it something where, like, we were aiming for a 2026, we're probably going for 2027?
I think probably.
Sorry,
go ahead. No, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, like, my initial assumption was that they were going to kind of chalk it up as a loss and just be like, we're moving forward, we're moving confidently, and this was going to be a 2023 announcement. Like, here's the full trailer and maybe, launch in 2024. We've talked about it ad nauseum on the show before of like what the perceptive roadmap could have been. Now, halfway through 2025 and still no, look at it in sight. Maybe they have gone in and adjusted just enough to then come out maybe at Game Awards and be like, here it is in full, here's some gameplay as well, and we'll see you again in 2026. My biggest thing whenever I look at Wolverine is that it's not just the gameplay that was shown, it was the entire story. Like,
I think the script for the whole story Yeah.
Exactly. So I am really wondering, like, how much of that did they want to go in and change? How much did they want to get the actors back in? Do
how much
additional?
Can they change?
But that's what I mean. We really don't know.
Yeah.
But my big thing is just going back into like the creative mind of any studio. You want to change as much as you can.
I think that's
stick
fair.
within budgets.
The only reason why I had kind of pushed back against people that try to, or that have said that could be the case, is because at the end of the day, like it's terrible. The hack is terrible. What happened to Sami-Jo, it's awful. It's awful, right? But in terms of how much of that has been consumed online, even though it may seem like a lot, it'll only make up less than 1% of the people that are going to buy the game.
Yes.
You know, at the end of the day, there may even be like over 1 million people that have seen so much of this game. It'll still make up such a small percentage of the total number of people that are going to buy and play the game. And even of those 1 million people that have seen this thing, how many of them remember it? How many of them have that stuff saved? Sure. Like, you know, like that's why it's like, as a creative, you obviously want to still have some surprises for the consumers and for the people out there that might have seen this thing, or maybe have been spoiled by someone else that saw it and just wanted to be a dick. But how much of it are you really willing to change and spend all that extra money on, when at the end of the day, you're not really talking about a large consumer base?
I would 1000% agree with you. The only other thing that I always go back to is we're dealing with a PlayStation that went through this with Last of Us 2.
Yep. Yeah, that's what I was going to say, and they didn't change it.
I think The Last of Us 2 was different, was because the leak happened more closer to the end. That
was
of the
like
production.
4 months before release.
Yeah, so because a lot of the leak was mostly the cinematics. That was so that they could not change. Like they basically.
But also, so in that situation, what are you saying? That do you think that the sales were affected?
No, but I'm just saying, like, there was a whole bunch of public perception of, well, we already know the big twist, we already know this, that, and the other. Yeah. We're going into launch with this preconceived notion of already knowing what the game is. Your surprises are already lost at that point. I do wonder if PlayStation looks at that and they go to Insomniac and they're like, if you guys want to change something, we will fund this. We'll give you guys the time, because otherwise, why haven't we seen it? That's the big thing, is like, if their roadmap, their leak roadmap was correct, why haven't we seen it?
I think that
they had to have changed it.
I think there was, I think that like a lot, I would imagine probably a lot of the story is still kind of like locked, maybe like some changes here and there, because the real cost of that is the voice actor, is the voice, the motion capture sessions. Those cost a lot of money. Someone who has seen budgets for voice actors, a lot of times it's either you're paid by the session, the page, or the word. So it just depends on kind of what was needed. So I would imagine that they probably did not want to go back and re-record or redo any of those, a lot of the sessions. So I would imagine there probably might be some story changes based off of the leak, but to kind of again subvert the change, a little bit of expectations from what people may have saw, to kind of twist things a little bit. I would think that again with the game design, there was a lot of design elements that were locked in from pre-production that they don't want to necessarily go back to restart over again, because then if that was the case, then we're not seeing this game for another 2-3 years at that point.
I honestly just think that with Wolverine, like it sucks, and I do wish we got some crumbs, but they're probably just doing, at least maybe it's the copium to talking here, right? But like, I think that what they're doing with Wolverine is the same thing they did with Spider-Man 2. They're just waiting until they're 6 months from release to be like, here's everything.
Yep, sure.
Here's the gameplay.
It's a better math.
Here's the pre-orders. You know, here's the skins, this, that, right? Like, that's what they did with Spider-Man 2. They waited. They gave us the release window after that reveal trailer. They didn't talk about it for 2 years. And then when they were finally like, we're hitting this release date, here's the full gameplay demo during the PlayStation Showcase. 2 weeks later at Summer Game Fest, pre-orders are live. Here's these skins. Then they got the Comic-Con thing too, right? Like they had just this whole summer of Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 2, Spider-Man 2, right up until that release in October. Yeah. And I do think that they might end up doing the same thing with Wolverine.
Also, I think in and of itself, like I think we're also looking at potential like studio fatigue. I mean, over the course of since 2020, they had the Spider-Man Remastered, Miles Morales, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, Spider-Man 2, and the announcement of Wolverine. Like that's like 4 or 5 games that within the span of 5 years, and that would stretch any team extremely thin. But the good thing is, from what we've always heard about Insomniac, is how well that team is run. They talk highly about their bosses, about their managers, about even up to the fact that Ted Price, when I was at DICE, basically hearing so many accolades of how good of a manager and a boss Ted Price was, makes me believe that they want to make sure that they can that the Insomniacs, as what they call them, are taken care of. And the fact that I think that they just probably had a lot of fatigue, plus also, as you said, Steve, like the league probably like deflated a lot of morale there. So it would take some time to basically be like, hey, let's take a minute, let's reevaluate, let's take a break and then come back at it so that we're fully into it. I think that could go without saying. We could probably hear about like when the game comes out being like, hey, yeah, we had to take like a month break from it just to reset ourselves. And the bosses probably would allow that. I would imagine that, like, I could see that happening. Whether it happens or not, I don't know. But I think
you wouldn't be surprised.
I would not be surprised. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. Sorry, I didn't mean to derail the whole conversation. I know we're talking about the showcase stuff this weekend.
It's part of
I'm just curious. I'm just curious, man. Yeah.
But like overall, it's a good showcase. I like to know how Atomic Heart devs are coming up with 3 games. Like
that is crazy to me. That was crazy.
They don't even have the second one out, and they've already got an Atomic Universe. Like what the fuck?
Yeah, I know.
I know. The voices in those trailers, were they AI?
Were they?
I saw that rumor, but
because I was listening to it and like the inflections were so weird. I was like it didn't feel real.
But yeah, I think it's also like
that's why in the chat I was like, is this AI, guys? And then
no, because where's Atomic Heart being like developed?
Poland.
Yeah. So it's probably a translation thing, I would imagine.
Localization, you think?
Yeah, like basically, like it just you're talking to people like who are Polish that English is their second language, and just I could see, like,
but there was no.
You could totally be right. I heard rumors of that too. I didn't see anything more beyond that of just people asking, is this AI? But from like it just like if it just could be a localization thing.
That's funny. I didn't even pick up on that. To be honest,
watch the Atomic Heart.
I'll go back. Yeah,
trailer. I was like, this feels weird, but
weird vibes. Okay,
but I don't know.
Yeah.
Atomic Heart. I can't believe getting 2 freaking games, man. Yeah. They get the whole multiplayer thing. Yeah, like what?
I thought extraction shooter, BR.
Yeah, I was thinking BR for sure. Yeah.
But to have like an MMO, I'm like, that's ambitious.
Pretty wacky.
And then the scary game, Ill. That's theirs too.
That game looks.
That's true.
That game looks ill.
The end of that trailer was so good, though. Actually,
the kicking the baby
into the barrels.
I was out when I saw any of those. Like, I was. There was no M.
That's such a Steve-ass game. I'm in.
I'm ready for that game. Yeah. I'm so ready for it.
Shooting zombie babies.
Hell yeah!
You mentioned it. It is unfortunate we didn't get a release. I really do wish we did. But yeah, Clockwork Revolution blew me away. That was the first time in a while I'd seen like a new original game where I was like, this looks freaking like amazing. Like everything they're showing me here, I am so in. The customization, the performances, the world, and the like steampunky style. I was so on board. But yeah, I am really bummed that we're not getting
when do you think we'll get it?
Spring 26.
I do think that it's going to be sooner than people think, because it was quite a long like reveal of gameplay and content that's in the game.
My assumption it will be the showcase game at the developer_direct.
That's my guess too.
Okay.
Yeah, because
January,
February, something like that. I would say like a late February, early March kind of game.
So what do we get at the Game Awards then?
Fable.
I think they'll release date.
I think you get Fable.
You think Clockwork shows up at the Game Awards, or you think just Fable?
I think just Fable. Maybe Master Chief. Maybe some Halo. I don't know.
No,
I don't think Clockwork's
Xbox is going to want to own that. Game. I think Xbox is going to want to own that.
Sure.
I don't think that. I mean, they may have like one or two,
but not
potentially.
Halo, obviously, this year.
If anything, Halo,
like a Gears of War Reloaded type of treatment on PS5 ahead of like a new Halo, which will be on PS5 and whatever else as well.
Yeah,
wouldn't that be redundant though? Assuming that this
is
new
Gears
Halo
of War
is
Reloaded redundant? I don't think that is.
But I just mean,
I feel
like, if
like
the assumption is that the new Halo is Combat Evolved remake, would doing Master Chief Collection be a little like same?
I don't know. Like, do you do that though, or do you do like a form factor that is kind of like Reloaded? Like, I don't know. Like, I feel like you could do something.
Also, is the assumption that it's going to be the Master Chief remake because of that reveal they did about how they're switching engines?
Yeah,
and they were using
it was
reported
armor.
Well, it's also the
Warren
armor.
The Verge.
Yeah.
The armor was
The Verge
Halo
reported
one.
that.
Yeah, I know. I saw that.
like
I noticed he was wearing the Combat Evolved armor.
That one I don't give a lot of credence to, just because the way I sort of saw that from the tech demo was just basically like, let's just try with our like what Halo 1 would look like in Unreal. Like that was kind of like the tech demo of it all that I could see. Like I could see. I've seen a lot of like the studios that they kind of do that, where they would just kind of, it's not real, it's not final. It's kind of like that same thing of like The Witcher 4 almost. Like it's a tech demo that may not be with how the game will end up looking like, or end up like even that village may not exist or what have you.
Yeah.
But it's more of just showcasing or just trying out, could this be possible? So yeah, I could see potentially a Halo 1 remake, but I would probably say that it's possible if that's what the first project they may want to do. But I don't know. It's kind of like, to me, I'm like, yeah, I'll believe it when I see it.
It might even be more of like a reimagining than a like scene by scene, brick by brick remake, where you can like,
it could be a prequel.
The first and maybe right.
Reach 2.
That'd be cool.
Reach 2, yeah.
All right.
Whoa,
I'm pretty sure the planet got glassed at the end of the last one. If I'd be down, that'd be cool. As long as Master Chief's in it, I guess.
Yeah. Oh, only in one blink and you miss it cutscene that you have to
take control,
hold the right thumbstick.
Yeah. Frozen. It's all right.
Only the real ones know the Easter egg. Yeah.
That's it.
I remember. I got all the achievements in Reach. It was a good one.
Oh, so underappreciated at the time, but it's people have finally come around to it now these days.
Well, they wised up, They
got
some taste.
Hey, I agree.
I do want to bring up the ROG Xbox.
Sure.
Have thoughts on it as well.
My most anticipated hardware thing for this year, and yes, I know that saying. I just got to switch to.
It looks really nice. Ergonomically, it's very comfortable.
Ally, though, right?
It is.
It is.
But I'm a big fan. Okay, listen, I don't love functionally what the PlayStation Portal can do, but I do love how it feels in your hands. Mainly because it is just a PlayStation controller with a screen in the middle. Yep. So I am super down for an RG Ally that is basically an Xbox controller with a screen in the middle. I'm not against that.
I think for me, as someone who loves handhelds, I agree with you about the PlayStation Portal. I think the only my biggest gripe is that I wish the thumbsticks were a little larger. But I think for the Xbox Ally, yes, it's similar to what the Ally X is right now. But I think there are some like more higher end specs in the Xbox Ally than the regular Ally X right now. And the thing that sells me is what they're calling the Xbox full screen experience.
Sure.
The semi Xbox OS, the streamlined gaming version of Windows 11, if you will. That to me, that speaks to me more than just seeing just an Xbox skinned Ally. Because that is what I needed as far from like a gaming handheld PC. Is I just want a working system that I can just pick up and play games without having to worry about my TDP or how much VRAM I need to give to a game and what settings needs to work in order for this game to even function, let alone being able to also optimize battery life so I can play it. I just want to be able to pick up a game and play it with this thing. And
I agree with you completely. I love my ROG Ally X. I use it, as much as I feel the need to. The issue is that I hate going through the Armory crate. I hate going through just like finagling the different settings. Like I just want it to be a console. I want it to be the Switch. I want it to be so easy and effortless that I can just hit the Xbox button and be like, here's my Xbox app. Swap over to Steam, swap over to Discord or whatever apps are being supported on that. I don't care about the specs. I don't care about the new design. I just want the new UI. That's the selling point for me. And if it works as intended, perfect. That's worth the price of admission, in my opinion. And then I also hope that with this new UI, it is easier for Xbox to be like, here's your catalog, because that's the big thing. I've said it before on the show, but the whole this is an Xbox advertising thing it's a lie. Your phone, your PC gaming handheld isn't an Xbox until my entire library is accessible in some way or form.
And they've kind of confirmed it won't be, right?
I think it's like moving forward, right?
Well, that's what I was. That's what I wanted to bring up, because they're not clear on that message. A lot of people think that, oh, like I'm literally picking up an Xbox Series S. It's in my hand right now.
Right. Yeah,
you're not
that's
doing that. You're still playing that game. You're still playing your game remotely, and they haven't really been clear on that. I have a lot of people who are like, oh, this is what I've been waiting for, because it's literally an Xbox. I can play it native. I'm like, no, you're not playing natively. If you lose connection, that's it. Like
no. They did make a big push of the fact you can download natively onto the device. That's what an Ally basically is. You can stream and also download, and that's why I think that they made a big push for the Play Anywhere, because they haven't really done that properly before. There was a lot of games that were not in that program, but that's why they're pushing from here on out. Every game that Xbox produces is going to be Play Anywhere. You can play on your console, handheld, or what have you.
For example, I'm going to bring up right here, it's not every game, because if I want to play NHL, like Riley, you already know we want NHL on handhelds and everything. That's not on there.
I don't.
I can play NHL
on the side note. They gotta get that game on PC.
Oh, 100%. Please,
here's the thing. It's not like magically thousands of games just going to appear. Like you kind of think this is going to take time.
No. But I'm just saying that their messaging of that is not clear, because it made it seem like I can literally take my Xbox, and games that are not supported on Play Anywhere, I could do that on this handheld. That's why I'm saying the message of that is not clear.
Yeah, I think that's my only thing is like I think that these developments are neat and they're really cool for like.
This is a great direction we're going.
Like it's really great for the brand. I think that what Steve kind of mentioned earlier was like the ease of use of something like a Switch 2, in the form factor of like a formal Xbox device would be incredible. Like that's my dream of dreams. Like that's what I really want. So I hope we can get there. It does seem like we probably will in time. But I mean, a lot of that's going to be dependent on third parties cooperating, to your point about NHL, and a lot of work in making this thing super back compat, because like if I can't play Banjo-Kazooie, guys, what are we doing? What are we doing here? You know, I need Banjo.
Yeah,
so I need my Xbox Live Arcade version of Banjo-Kazooie.
Yeah, I think that's why they're making that commitment now. Like they're pushing that Play Anywhere, because is that you're right, because it is confusing as to be like what game is Play Anywhere and what isn't. But that's why with this showcase they're saying, okay, we're making it a lot simpler, and part of it is like why this device exists, because even from what I've heard from reviews of people who've already like had their hands on it over at SGF, was that the way that they want to make at least Asus and Xbox, how they want to make this device is that if you are going to play games on Steam on this, that they want to still have this immersive experience where it'll open up a browser to be able to take you to the Steam download page, to be able to download the client, but they don't want to take you out of the streamlined full screen experience of Xbox / Windows 11 to basically get out of into proper Windows 11, download Steam, then bring back up the Xbox OS essentially. So they're trying to make it as streamlined as possible. It's going to take some time. I think that probably by the time that this comes out, they probably will maybe have a lot of games that are back compat for the Play Anywhere. I mean, we saw even just a rumor this before the showcase. I think Riley, you even put it of Jez Corden saying that he's been seeing older games pop up in the Xbox PC
which I think
store.
you can stream to some extent. You can
some
of those older games you can stream, which is like good. I mean, if I can. As long as it's labeled as such, but I would like to play them natively on the device in time. I know one of my concerns about this, because I think it's like a neat step, but one of my concerns is like, how much is it going to cost? And I think the ROG Ally X is like $1,200 Canadian.
Yeah,
right?
and if it's a step above in Canada, I would say this high end Xbox handheld is going to be pushing $1,300 to $1,400.
I'd imagine 12.
I can see
which is just
between 12 and 14.
Not, like that, yeah, like that or a Switch too. It's like, well,
yeah.
And this is what we brought up, you know, in the previous episode when we were talking about this half measure, this half step for Xbox, where it is if the idea, I know that they've come out and reports have said that the native Xbox handheld, the one that they're building from the ground up by themselves, is currently on pause.
Yeah.
But again, even if that's 2 to 3 years out of the way, asking people to invest $1,400 in this half step isn't a great look if they turn around, you know, in a couple of years and they're like, and here's the Xbox Series O or whatever.
Yeah,
and
I think it's just like a cool first step.
It is
for them to explore the OS and stuff.
It is.
It's not for
and
everyone.
This is also coming on every other handheld as well. This
That's
OS,
right.
that's their goal, and like that's another good thing as well. You don't have to get this Ally with it, or we could, like MSI could come up with one. Lenovo could come
Lenovo would definitely work
OS.
with this.
It's just an OS, and they even mentioned it on the showcase as well. Isn't this the same chip that's in the Z Flow 13?
Sounds about right. I think. Yeah, I think they're using the. It's either Z.
I think it's the
Z2.
same like chip, like the AI chip that's in the Z13 Flow, which is a fantastic chip, and that device ain't cheap either.
No, no. I would imagine. I would love to see this still at like an $1,100, $1,200 range. I think that seems because that's. I mean, it's currently like the Ally X is currently $1,100 Canadian, yes. And that's at Best Buy. So I haven't looked up any of the others, whether say how much Walmart is, unless Riley, you know that offhand. But
I don't. But I think it's probably about the same.
Yeah. But I would say I would imagine probably by the holiday that we would see the Ally X being cheaper, probably around that for how much the Ally is right now. I think they'll just shift. I think the Ally itself will probably be around $400 or $500. The Ally X will probably be around that $800 range, and I would imagine the Xbox Ally and Ally X to have a sort of similar price point. I would say probably $899 for Ally, and then maybe $1,100, maybe pushing $1,200 for the Xbox Ally X. Because I think in order for them to be competitive within the space, they kind of need to sort of stay at that price range because they're also competing with Steam Decks. They're competing with MSI. They're competing with Lenovo. And Lenovo's already proven they're already got a Lenovo Go S with Steam OS coming out this June that is cheaper than the regular Lenovo Go. So if they could be able to keep that cost down, I think, yes, as you said, it will be a great first step to them pushing for more mobile performance on a handheld future down the line, so that MSI can get into it, Lenovo can grab it, and then Xbox can have that data from all of those manufacturers, knowing what they want, so that they can invest that into their own proper handheld.
Just to go back to it, it's not the same chipset.
Okay.
No. Both the Xbox Ally and the Xbox Ally X are running the AMD Ryzen Z2A processor, whereas the Z Flow 13 is the AMD Ryzen AI Max.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I think the Xbox Ally X. I think the Xbox Ally X
be dropping
Z2
coordinates on me right now. I have no clue what you're talking about. That's how far removed
I think the Xbox Ally X is running a Z2 AI, if I'm not mistaken.
Z2 Extreme. That's right.
To the max.
But
Yeah,
not
but
the max.
why did I see something about AI? Hold on.
It is the Ryzen AI Z2 Extreme.
Yeah.
But not the max. Not the Max Plus 365 or whatever.
Oh, okay. That was a blind moment. I read the A and I thought it said AI. So that's
you know what they're not dropping? Hollow Knight. Where the hell's that game?
Ooh.
So I want to clarify something because the language around that reveal alongside the ROG Ally Xbox was like, it'll be available at launch or whatever, but it's not launching with the ROG Ally.
No,
it's confirmed. So
the assumption is that
it will just be out by the time this device hits.
Which, if it's coming out holiday, then hey, we're sitting pretty. We've got a window.
Well, if it comes out this summer,
which one? Sorry,
Hollow Knight.
Hollow Knight.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, well, at least we have a window, knowing that the handhelds are coming
be
out this
by
holiday.
holiday.
So we're sitting pretty. I'm okay.
So would that mean
we're feeling good?
But so wait, would they have the announcement, or would this be like Nintendo then?
Absolutely not. We've talked about this, Marcel. How many times?
But like, where would they just drop this announcement?
I think Team
Xbox
Cherry
has no show.
out.
That's it.
Or they would just
maybe. Yeah. I mean, if Nintendo
Gamescom, it's Gamescom.
You're so fucking
oh yeah,
right.
opening
That's
night launch.
actually
Yeah,
exactly
Gamescom.
what it is. Yeah.
Day and day. Shadow drop.
Ooh.
Shadow drop.
Shadow drop.
You're going Shadow drop. When's opening night?
August.
Yo, it might actually be.
Yeah.
Fill in that Game Pass slot there in August.
I just want to
drop that day one.
If that happens, I just want to say Marcel said Shadow drop for this game on one of the podcasts. He said that
he did. I do remember this.
Now,
but he's also been on record to say that Nintendo will be the one to.
Yeah, the idea of a shadow drop.
These cameras off of me, right? Speaking of Nintendo, what does everyone think about their Switch 2?
Yeah, I'm. It's nice. I'm enjoying Mario Kart World more. I'm enjoying Mario Kart World more, but that's it.
I honestly, the thing that blows me away about this Switch 2 is how well Cyberpunk runs on that thing.
Sure.
Because damn, that's the game I've been playing on it the most.
I'm trying to get my hands. I'm trying to get my hands on the Arkham trilogy that they released to see how Arkham Knight runs. Because I remember everyone saying
it's a lot better.
It's a lot better.
Yeah.
Because I remember people saying that Arkham Knight was a nightmare on the Switch One.
A nightmare.
Well, I'm gonna see how much it is on the eShop because I want to see. I forgot about that.
Hilarious.
So
amazing.
So I want to see how that runs on the Switch too. I mean, listen, I really dig just the feel of the Switch. I'm happy to own it for what's to come. Obviously, like we talked at the top of the show.
Banger roadmap.
They just announced a new Splatoon, which is cool. And then I'm sure there's going to be a lot of really, really good games on the way. And yeah, you mentioned as well, Riley, that there's a good roadmap of games coming throughout the year. It's just one of those things where it's like, the hype of needing to be there at midnight for release or getting up at like 7 a.m. to line up to get your hands on one if you didn't pre-order. I feel like we almost overhyped that bit of it because there isn't a whole lot to do with it at launch. And also there is quite a bit, at least here in Canada, it's pretty readily available. Like I was waiting for my Walmart pre-order to come through. And then I was like, you know what? Like, I'm just it's not your fault. It's okay.
I did it.
It's all you specifically looked at my order and you're like, let's delay that one.
Said, no.
Don't put that one on the card. It's fine.
Hey, I'm gonna throw you a bone because what I ended up doing was I went to my local Walmart and it was just
had it
ready to go. Yeah, it wasn't too much of a problem. And it's funny too because they mentioned to me, they're like, we're not sure if we're gonna have any back there, but because there was a lineup at like 6 a.m., but you can check. And then I just saw like they pulled out the case with like all the Switch 2s. There's like more than enough.
Barely an inconvenience.
Barely an inconvenience. So there's a lot of Switch 2s out there in the wild. I think people can get their hands on one pretty easily. And I think that your best bet, if you were on the fence at first, is just wait a little longer. Wait for some of these games to hit. See what people think about some of these games, and then make your decision on whether or not to grab one. Because if you're trying to get one just for Mario Kart World and Mario Kart World alone, it's not 100% worth it right now. But I think in a couple months, or at least by the end of this year, when you got Donkey Kong, when you got a new Mario Party, you got Mario Kart World. I think is Kirby coming out this year as well. Metroid Prime 4. Like once you have all those games like out and on the shelves, then you're gonna look at a library of titles for the Switch 2 specifically that'll make it a lot more enticing to want to get your hands on one.
I'm kind of with you there, Aaron, where I'm so torn between the Switch 2 and, its launch titles and everything. For me, I almost equated to the Xbox Series consoles where I got it out of the box. It felt so great in my hand. I'm excited for this, shiny new piece of tech. And then, I went through and did the system transfer tool and started installing all my games. And then as soon as I docked it, got it on the TV, I looked at the UI, I was like, been here, done that. And it was kind of like this thing where it's like, in comparison to the PlayStation 5, where you're hearing new noises, you're seeing new visuals, and you're interacting with this console in a brand new, different way. I understand why Nintendo kept it the same, because it's safe, it's reliable, it's worked for them in the past. It is very fast. Like, there is a noticeable improvement in terms of like the navigation and the way that even the eShop is working and everything like that. So I can't fault them for that. I just wish there was a little more care in terms of, this is a brand new console. We're integrating this into like a brand new generation, with the exception of going into like game chat or redeeming a couple codes online. I haven't really cared about interacting with the UI whatsoever. It's just kind of been going to Mario Kart, going to Cyberpunk, and maybe my back catalog, because there really hasn't been anything to really do on the console. And I feel like that's kind of a disappointment, because you invest in 600, here 629 to start, and I'm just interacting with Mario Kart for the most part, which is a great game. I'm having a lot of fun, but the system itself, I'm like, it's fine. It feels good, but that's about it.
I think the main, because I was trying to think about because what made sort of the original Switch sort of like that knockout success, beyond just that we've never seen it before, when it first came out in 2017. And I think that in regards to launch lineup, I think that is the Achilles heel of the Switch 2 for the launch, is because you got to think about, at launch on the Switch, we had Breath of the Wild, which was a game that you're spending at least like minimum 50 to 60 hours in. We would still be playing it right now and we'd be talking about it if Nintendo had a larger game at launch of this. Because I think, if I remember correctly, I think they had Mario Kart 8 Deluxe at launch as well, and that was great to be able to jump in and play.
Or like a month after.
Was it a month after? Okay, because I can't remember timelines, because I remember I got my Switch a month after it came out, because I couldn't find it for that long. But it was, to me, it was, we just haven't had that one game that like the launch with, that basically kind of keeps us playing more of the Switch 2, because
we got a social game for launch, right? Which was
great social game, and I think people have been enjoying it, and people but now we're kind of at that point. We played it for about a week. What now?
I'm ready for Donkey Kong.
Exactly.
I'm definitely at a point where I'm ready for Donkey.
Like Mario Kart World, for all it's doing well. Like I think it's a fun game. I think it's a great social game and everything.
It's a great platform.
It's not an all-nighter kind of game where I played for a couple hours. I was like, yeah, that's cool. I love ripping knockout mode. I think that's a stellar new addition to
we got to get the crew together, because Steve and I were playing it. And it's a lot of fun. Yeah,
it's super fun. But then you play a couple rounds, you get your teeth kicked in, and then you're like, well, I want to play something else. And right now,
if you just get good though, Steve.
Wait, what's that?
But if you just happen to get good,
okay.
Yeah, I'll
consider that. I'll consider that. Okay.
So, is anyone else though also in the same boat where I felt this way when we got our early hands-on? I'm still not seeing what makes Mario Kart World that premium $80 US or whatever, $110 Canadian game.
I totally hear you on that, and I agree. Like, I equated it. I kind of realized like Mario Kart World to me is like a really nice house. And you just bought this really nice house, right? And you go in, you're like, it's got good bones, like it's beautiful to look at.
Yeah, the basement's finished.
It's and then you're like, I have no furniture, and I'm like, I'm waiting for the furniture to arrive now, and I know that they're gonna pour content into this thing.
Sure.
The director got asked, where's 200cc mode, and he's like, oh, I don't know, stay tuned. Like, everyone's like, where's Diddy Kong? He's like, oh, I can't talk about that. So it's like, okay, so what you're gonna do probably is have a bunch of content. I don't know if it'll be paid or part of like the expansion pass or pack or whatever. Like, I'm not sure.
It's an evergreen game.
Yeah, it's like this thing will be a totally different game in 5 years.
For sure. But I think you just said the magic word there about DLC and extra content, right? If you're gonna release a ton of more content, just
it's 100% for it. This 100% is to be able to push for the NSO expansion pass.
I think
probably.
Like,
I think it'll be a part of it for sure.
Yeah, so you can I
think they should just give you the first year roadmap for free. Like, let's do that. Like, then it's like, okay, that makes a little bit more sense.
Yeah,
like, you got a season pass for the first year or whatever. Like, that would make a little bit more sense for the cost.
The frustrating thing about it all is that as much as we hope and pray that this is the case. It's all conjecture because Nintendo just has not provided us any of this information. So for people outside of this conversation, people who are not even like invested in the games industry, they go out, they buy this game for $110 here in Canada or whatever, sit down and they're like, maybe just like me, and rip through every single cup and got, you know, the gold trophy, and they're like, well, I beat the game. I literally rolled credits in this game.
I'm done.
in like 3 hours, and they're like, well, now what? Now I can go into an open world that has visually no navigation, nothing to really do aside from like randomly.
There's some good Easter eggs in that roaming around. Like, there's a Mario 64. Like,
I will admit,
did you guys unlock mirror mode?
The only thing I've enjoyed. The only thing I've enjoyed about the free roam mode is just kind of turning on like a lo-fi playlist on Spotify and just driving on the road and just
ripping blunts and just
the ultimate sort of chill, just driving experience. Like I'm laying back, I'm like, hell yeah,
putting the road trip,
But honestly, I think it's kind of going back to what I said before. I think for me, and it shows, like, because literally after the first day of the launch, there was already like the eShop produced basically like what was the top selling games for on the eShop, and it was undoubtedly Mario Kart #1, but Cyberpunk was #2, and I think that is the true showcase of what the Switch 2 could do right now. Because again,
it's reassuring,
it's mind-boggling how well that game runs on that hardware. Like,
are they coming out with 2.3 now too because of this?
Yeah, there's coming out with new content, with the new patches coming out this month. It's going to have new side quests and stuff.
Can I be Link though?
I don't know.
More like cyber junk if I can't be.
But they also even like not only did they have a great port, but they also
cyber junk in there. You could get one.
Not only did they have a great port, but they also included some special like the Switch 2 kind of control modes. You can play in gyro mode, you can play in mouse mode, you can play in sort of hand gestures mode. So basically, you can literally like swipe someone with a sword and you're with a Joy-Con, and that's like it like again, it's just it. From my experience, it doesn't look as crisp and as clean as its PC counterpart, unless you're playing in dock mode, which is a little bit more stable. But on handheld, which is how I've been playing it, it looks great. There's like maybe a frame drop here and there a little bit, but it's not enough to be able to impede in performance. And even playing in performance mode, I think that's probably maybe the worst way to play because the graphics really kind of get degraded on handheld, but it does run smoother than ever. But I think that to me, I'm like, for those who have never been able to, like, who've been in the Switch 2 ecosystem or the Switch ecosystem for a long time and don't really go out and play games on PC or on consoles, and that's their only console, if this is their first sort of like entry into Cyberpunk, they've got a great game right there that runs really well.
Yeah, that's fair.
So anyway, I don't know. I've just been enjoying that. That was, like I said last week, that was the one game I was really looking forward to playing, and so I've been enjoying that. And then also the occasional getting my ass whooped by Riley in knockout mode in Mario Kart.
I'm real fucking good, boys.
he's really fucking
good. Go?
I'll go.
He's really fucking good.
I'm really fucking good. I'm better at Smash, but I'm decent at Mario Kart.
All right.
You're in my world now.
Oh, okay.
We'll have a gaming network tournament, Mario Kart tournament. Is that what we're doing?
I think that's what we're setting up here.
Oh, okay.
The chaos of Mario Kart.
I think we should do it at Pixel Power Play on the main stage in front of everyone there.
Steve Marcel,
so that I can embarrass you in front of a crowd.
I can't come that weekend though.
He's already ducking me, guys.
Oh,
you hear
wow.
That? He's already making excuses.
All right, I'm really busy. I can't fucking.
I got a thing.
I don't know. I can't do that shit, man. I don't know.
No, Walmart's got me doing this thing.
I got work and fight. I don't
know. Secretly, there's a Switch 3. Sorry, gotta work on that. Yeah.
Well, I'm a husband and a brother and a son. Like I can't be
everywhere.
I can't be
For a second there, I thought you said I'm a husband, a brother, and also I have a son.
Huge announcement!
Surprise!
Just a dog, so a daughter, I guess.
There you go.
But I feel like the Switch 2, I think it's gonna be really cool. By holiday, I think there's going to be a ton to play on it.
This will be the ultimate Christmas purchase. I feel like for the family, for the if you're someone's parent out there right now and you're thinking about what to get the kid for the Christmas or for the holidays, the Switch 2 is 100% at the top of the list.
Yeah, it's pretty sweet. The only thing I really want from Nintendo is just like some dates on stuff. I hope we get a formal presentation highlighting that. Because I don't want to have to go to the Nintendo Today app to get all of my information moving forward.
So all the game announcements to just be sitting there in the app every day, and then
I don't want to open it one day and just be like, "Oh, Red Dead 2 is coming to Switch too." It's like,
that actually, I am surprised we didn't get anything about that because there was all these rumors swirling that Red Dead 2 was going to get a 60 FPS patch, and it was maybe going to be coming to Switch 2. I am so surprised. Summer Game Fest, PlayStation, Xbox had nothing about that. But then again, I guess. Is it just one of those things where Rockstar just does stuff on their own terms?
Yeah, most likely. Nintendo and Rockstar. Yeah, I would probably, and if not, then I would think Nintendo and Rockstar are probably working on it. Nintendo publishes almost all of Rockstar's games on Switch, or they did.
Yep. Yeah. And you're talking about like two of the most secretive companies in the industry right now, too. So
I will say, for as much as I'm really excited for the possibility of playing Red Dead 2 again at 60. That is going to be for sure a Switch purchase for me because that game is so gargantuan that it's going to be like the perfect on a plane game for me.
1000%.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why I'm looking for it. Like, because I'm traveling a little bit in July. I'm like, I'm hoping I can still be able to play. Like, I'll still be playing Cyberpunk by then. Because I'm like, that's
take some breaks from it, man. Make sure you don't put all your hours into it.
Yeah, I'm taking it slow because I've also got other. I'm still playing Death Stranding right now.
I mean, you've also got Phantom Liberty in there and stuff too, right? There's probably so much content.
Yeah, and the new content's coming out in June too. So
that's right. That's right. They're gonna have a new update. Is it like not like a DLC thing, right? Like,
no, just new side content. I think is what they said.
That's pretty cool though. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
So.
All right.
I also just want to say 2026 is looking stacked.
Oh my goodness.
Like I thought 2025 was going to be an incredible year in gaming.
It is so far, but
2026 is going to kick the crap out of it. It's not.
I mean, if we get what we're hoping for, which is GTA 6, Fable, Gears E-Day, Halo, like just those alone.
Wolverine. I got you, Aaron. Thank you.
Or even if we get Intergalactic for all we know, for Naughty Dog. Resident Evil 9,
Marvel Tokon, Invisible Versus,
1943.
Yeah.
Rise of Hydra is early.
Yeah, we got the Prince of Persia remake. Yeah,
the Marvel. What? How do you pronounce it? Rotan, whatever. The fighting game.
Yeah, Marvel like Fighting Souls. Yeah, Invincible Versus 2026. It's gonna be just like 2023, where like the Game of the Year nominees. It's just like that could win, that could win, that could win, that could win.
Yeah,
and I don't think anybody would be mad.
It's like one of those. It's like it's an honor to be nominated because any one of them could have win.
Yeah, on any other year that we could have.
Oh, we lost our host. Oh, okay, that's fine.
I have been instructed to sign off on behalf of Marcel.
Wait, did you?
Oh, really?
Yeah, he said. His audio is all messed up. So, when we close things out, Steve, showcase what do you got going on this lovely week?
Hell yeah. I'm still working on my basically doing my daily podcast on my YouTube channel. I did a funny one today where apparently there was people complaining about how difficult Lies of P Overture was, even with the new difficulty thing. So I just found it funny that people were decrying easy mode in Souls-like games, and yet they're like, it's too hard. Anyway, so
I gotta play that. I'm looking forward to it. I got the code installed and everything. I'm looking forward to going through that.
DLC. I need to get my hands on that. Especially because of the difficulty modes on there. I want to play that. But yeah, I'm doing a sort of a different way of doing Death Stranding. I'm not going to be able to probably do a full Death Stranding 2 review on June 23 when that comes out, because I wanted to go back in and re-review Death Stranding 1 in 2025. So I've been playing that kind of almost nonstop while in between breaks of playing Cyberpunk on Switch 2. So I'm going to be doing that probably by the end of by the June 23rd, and then I'm still maybe have like an accessibility video about Death Stranding 2 on the same day. But that is what I'm currently working right now. At some point, I will do a proper Death Stranding 2 review. But I'm all in Kojima mode right now.
We should talk because I did the same thing. I'm going through Death Stranding 1. I'm currently replaying it at chapter 12, so I'm hoping to wrap up.
Oh, I'm so far behind. I'm like chapter
3.
Yeah, still.
Oh, yeah. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I've been full on. Because I wanted to go back and just kind of re-experience that entire
game.
Same.
Because I reviewed it back when it came out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I reviewed it back then. But I wanted to see more of it because I felt like I was kind of scratching the surface when I was playing it originally. But yeah, and then I'm gonna be doing some more game reviews. I'm doing some more TTRPG stuff. So yeah, at Steve Sailor pretty much everywhere.
Cool. What about you, Riley?
Probably I'm actually only 2 characters away from having all the characters in Mario Kart. So
what's the set way to unlock characters?
Dude, you got to cheese the shit out of it. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. So there's the comic item that
I know that
you have to get hit with it to get all the NPC characters.
So that's essentially it. Yeah.
I see.
It's just that's one of my only things is like I'm assuming that there's going to be some substantial updates that make more sense. But like I should be able to go into the overworld, maybe race a character and unlock them. Like
yeah,
that would be. I don't like having to like get 2 controllers out and then station 1 at the right distance and then get the comic item and then throw it.
Yeah.
And then maybe it lands on the character if I happen to be on the right map that I'm trying to get.
RNG on that is ridiculous.
It is. I'm like, it's not even like fun. Like if that is how you're going to proceed through that, it's very likely that you will never unlock all of the characters.
The only saving grace for that is that it's the NPC creature characters. If it was, hey, if you want to unlock Waluigi, I'd be like, no, this is outrageous.
Are you downplaying the importance of Rocky Wrench?
Yeah,
that's insane, dude. It's Rocky freaking Wrench, dude.
You son of a bitch.
Yeah, I got to jump through all these hoops to get my Rocky Wrench.
What was the one that you were when we were playing that you were like, come on, Steve, you don't know about like what was it?
The fucking coin catcher or whatever.
Yeah,
it was like a frog. Yeah,
it was a frog. I'm
like, oh, what's the frog? I'm like, it's not a. Are you serious right now? It's not a frog.
I'm like, name? I don't fucking know.
I'm like, this is an iconic Mario character.
Exactly.
Yeah. Coin coffer.
Coin
coffer. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, everyone knows coin coffer.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, sure, of course. Yeah, I know that. Yeah, I know it now.
Viney Rocky Wrench. So that's where I'm at with my life. That and Fishbone.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Yeah, Fishbone.
Of course.
Fishbone. Yeah. Well, that's cool.
Where I'm at. That's where I'm at in life.
All right. Well, what about you, Caboose?
Still playing some more Switch 2 as well, trying to get those characters. I had no idea there was this like hidden way to do it.
Yeah,
but outside of that, just enjoying the summer and playing some more Rivals as well, which is keeping up some time. But I'm ready. I'm ready for this next year. I'm excited for 2026. We're going to get hopefully some new updates for 1943 Rise of Hydra. I want to see more from that game. We'll hopefully in the next year get updates for Wolverine, Marvel Tokon. I got some content to cover in 2026, which is nice.
Hell yeah.
But until then, we're just kind of sitting and enjoying some of the games that are out here this year. And I'm counting down the days until Ghost of Yotei. I literally can't wait.
How many days are we at?
Stay to play in July. So that'll be nice. And then when is it again? October, is it 2nd?
2nd, I think. Yeah.
Oh, it's the 2nd? Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's around that time. I'll have to double check. But yeah, I'm really hyped. I'm really, really hyped for that. And that's about it. You can catch me Twitter and Instagram at CabooseEK, YouTube.com, and Twitch.tv/Caboose.
Cool.
And we get an Astrobot one too.
Yes.
Astrobot content.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's in July, no?
When they said that there was going to be, the Ghost of Yotei bot, and there was like, and there's some more that we can't say right now. I don't want to spoil that. I was like, oh my God, there's going to be a Wolverine bot. There's totally going to be a Wolverine bot.
That'd be cool.
But now I don't think there's going to be until like maybe after they show more from the game.
Yep. And it is October 2nd for Ghost of Yotei.
There you go. Yeah.
I do kind of want some formal content for that game, though. I have to say,
like a
big
DLC.
Hell
yeah,
agreed.
Big expansion. Yeah.
It's too bad that the biggest piece of content to come out of that is just a Christmas level, because that level is probably one of the best that they've ever put out.
Yeah.
If they could do more of that, that'd be pretty cool.
I would like for them to have a full-on expansion. It'd be nice.
Yeah. Well, as for me, you can find me across the internet at SVigvari. I'm just kind of counting down the days to Pixel Power Play, playing my Switch.
Yeah.
Getting ready for Death Stranding as well. But yeah, I don't know how Marcel's going to end up finishing this episode, but I'll give him some thumbs up that we're done here.
All right.
Cool. See y'all next
time.
Guys.
Yeah, bye.
Bye-bye.